Howdy doody! Welcome back to the ranch. My name is Mick. This behind me is my 1962 Case 830, specifically a 831C. If you're familiar with the channel, you watched me pick this thing up and get it running for the first time in quite some time. Today, I need to run through this thing with maintenance items, as well as figure out a problem with the hydraulic system, as the 3-point system, the Eagle Hitch, is non-functional. And I'm going to need it if I'm ever going to use this thing. So let's get started. I have some filters on order for this thing. I think I have my fuel filters already, but I'm waiting on some others. But before I get to draining the oil out of this thing while it's still running, I want to just take a gander at my hydraulic system and see if I notice any screaming problems with it. I did note in the previous video that this is the hydraulic cylinder here, and she looks pretty clapped out. So I think at a bare minimum, if I get really lucky with getting hydraulics moving and everything, I'm gonna need to address that cylinder in some capacity. She's pretty well clapped out. You see this gap here, it's because it's bent or something, some sort of mangled. And then if you look down here where the cylinder attaches, I've got some fresh welds from the previous owner, even though he didn't spend any time working on this tractor, figuring out the hydraulic system. Now those aren't even rusting over yet. This bolt, if I take pressure off of this system by lifting it up a little bit, I can slip that bolt clear out of there and it's threaded. So I'm assuming I shouldn't be able to do that. This bolt is also not stock, so, or at least I'm not assuming, so it looks pretty new compared to the others. So maybe it's just not long enough to engage threads. I'm not sure. I'll be able to pull the other one out and take a peek at that, but that's just one thing that we're gonna get into later. At a bare minimum, right now, I don't have any sort of hydraulic flow, I don't think. So before I drop oil and before I change out fuel filters, stuff like that, I'm gonna fire this thing up and take this inspection cover off here. We'll take a gander in that cover, see if we notice any stuck valves or something. Was looking at the diagram for this tractor. There's a series of check valves with balls and springs, like relief valves, so maybe one of those is hung up. I can look at the hydraulic filter, maybe it's all plugged up, but let's start by just firing this thing up, taking that cover off, and just seeing what we see. I'm not sure if any oil is gonna come out of this thing when I take the cover off, but I'll throw a pan down there. This cover is also kind of halfway broken, which is unfortunate, but it seems to still be sealing. I don't want to spend too much time out here today. It's pretty cold, but there's no snow on the ground, which is a nice change of pace. But yeah, as you could tell for how hard it was to start this thing, she was a little grumpy. It's pretty cold out today, so I just want to get an idea on what I'm getting into so I can get some parts on order, hopefully. Or best case scenario, ain't nothing coming out of there. Best case scenario would be I don't have to order any parts. Maybe I just have to take this thing apart and clean it up a bit. It smells okay, no water, but it doesn't look like a great color. It looks like there's some metal fragments in there maybe. Other than that, though, I will say, looks pretty clean in there. No rust or water intrusion. Maybe a little bit of water. I got movement. It looks like everything that's supposed to be moving. Nothing glaring per se yet. Now let's fire this thing up and see if we notice anything. I should also point out, if you guys were here for the last video on this thing, I was having problems with my starter switch. It wasn't starting, and I was looking at the book and realized that there's a neutral safety switch sitting right here, and the boot that covers it is missing, hanging on by a thread. So that's what's what used to be the boot for it. So I kind of tightened these up and wiggled them around and got it to work again. I'm assuming now that it does work with the key, that's still functional. I just need to get a boot over it and maybe throw some dielectric grease down there. So I ordered a boot for that. Now let's go ahead and start this thing up again. The other thing that I totally missed, and I think I'll note it in the edit, but there's a hand throttle on this thing, and I was struggling with keeping it idling. I didn't realize there's a hand throttle. That was pushed all the way up in the off position, essentially. So, as you can see, PTO works. Let's pull these valves again, see if we see anything. From a surface level, everything looks fine in there, I think. So looking down here, this is my inlet side of my cylinder that's going to come up and raise this whole system. If I follow that line back, this would be my inlet side to my cylinder. So this is really what I'm looking to see if I have fluid flow from, which I'm assuming I don't at this point. So I'm gonna pop this off and just see if I get any sort of flow. If I don't, assuming I don't, I think next step for me is going to be, let's see, all this goes to the it all shares a case. So this is my transmission fluid, essentially. So I could check my filter, which I believe is down here. I see a cover here that I believe is for a filter, and then I see another one here. Yeah, and this is a cooler line here. So this runs to my radiator, and then back feeds on the back side, I believe. Yep, into my case-o-matic clutch system. I'm thinking this one down here, though, is strictly for my hydraulic system. So let's just pop this line off, see what we get. I should mention, by the way, I did study up a little bit on this system because I don't know anything about it, so I dug into the manual for it. I'm partnering with eManualOnline again. I've partnered with them in the past where they provided me with a manual for one of my previous machines, and I'm gonna shout them out again because they provided me with another manual for this. And I would like to say to y'all, to me, the most user-friendly way to have parts manuals for your machines. They have most every manual for any sort of farm machine or heavy equipment. You just go on their website, type in whatever machine you have, it'll pop up, you buy it, and you have a PDF version of it for life. So you don't have to file it away and risk of losing it. You could back it up however you want to in your login information on the website. For me, I just download the whole PDF, and then if I ever want like specific pages to have on the job, print off the pages. Or in the past, like on the TD14 video, I just had my laptop with me and my phone, and I was able to pull up the parts diagram on my phone and my laptop and scroll through that way. To me, it's just super user friendly. So thank you to eManualOnline for providing me with the parts book and service book and operator's manual for this machine. All right, with that said, let's drop this line, fire this thing up again, see what we see. Don't grab the right tool, grab a crescent wrench. Okay, looks awfully dry in there. So you can see in there, there's a hole, and when I move this shaft back and forth, it should open and close essentially that pathway. Let's fire this thing up again. Probably won't do anything, but let's see. All right. So obviously I got no juice. I'm gonna try this top one too, just for S's and G's, because without something connected, I can't see if I have flow out of this one. Nothing. No surprise, but you know, might as well check. I gotta figure out what I want to do next here. I feel like I want to check the filter, but I'm also going to dump out a bunch of fluid if I do that, which isn't the end of the world, but I'd like to see, you know, up top, if I can get things working, then I can drain the fluid and put good fluid in it, which the fluid doesn't seem all that bad either. I mean, checking the dipstick, it's a little milky, like there might be a little bit of water in there. It's also to the proper fill mark. I think I'm going to pop these two valves off and see if I open this up, if I could find that spring and ball and just see if they're stuck in there or what. I might just take this whole pump off, disassemble it, clean it, put it back together, see what happens. Who are you? See in there how there's a little plunger in the middle sticking out? When I throw this lever the other way, it's gonna come back. When the lever is thrown this way, it's going to push that plunger out, which is gonna push this check ball out and allow fluid to flow. Let's take this off. There's probably gonna be a gasket back here that I will try my best to not destroy. There's only one way to find out. Oh, dang it. That is exactly what I did not want to do. All right, good news is I see my springs. I got 1, 2. Bad news is I dropped this whole thing on the ground. I'm gonna have to make sure this is really clean before I put this back together. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Can't fix stupid. The further I look, the more parts I find. Another check ball. Golly, I hope I find all the parts. I'm gonna have to go through the book. Good thing I got the book. And just make sure I have all of them. Good news about being on a muddy gravel surface is nothing's going to get lost underneath rocks and nothing's going to roll too far. Good Lord, that's heavy. A lot heavier than I was expecting that to be. All right, I see fluid. Everything looks very clean. Oh wow, how cool. The eagle stamped on everything is so cool. Take a look at this thing. Here's the inside. Look how clean it is in here. And the little eagle stamped here, stamped here. So this looks like it's my pickup tube, which will feed and then return up top, which is going to return down. And there's your fluid down there. Again, I mean, the fluid, it looks old and like it needs replaced, but it's not like milky. Regardless, I'm going to fire this thing up one more time just to see, you know, what happens inside here. And then I think I might pull this thing into the garage for the night while I study a little bit. It should fit, I think. But yeah, I'm curious. I want to see what this thing looks like when it's running. Yeah, Yeah, there you go. Oil's doing its thing, slanging around. Looks like it feeds from there too. This is what drives my pump. So as that's spinning, it spins the hydraulic pump over there. That'll spin one of these gears, probably that one. That'll spin this right here, which, yeah, pumps.
Ting Wong.
And that feels, you know, tight in a good way. You know, it doesn't have a bunch of slop to it. Still just wondering why this thing isn't working. There's got to be something hung up in that pump, I think, because this all looks really good. I'm going to clean up for now, get this tractor into the shop. That way, you know, I don't have any risk of water getting in the system here. But yeah, I'm genuinely impressed, surprised at the state of the inside of the machine here. I think it looks really good in there. So I bet you my problem is going to lie within that pump over there. I'm going to tear it down and hopefully we find something that is screaming, it's me. I'm the issue. We'll see. Hi. Still the same day. Good news. Bad news. Good news. Tractor barely, just barely fits in the garage. Other good news. I found our issue and it was glaring. So I don't have to take apart the hydraulic pump. I don't think. Bad news. The issue is glaring and it's bad. I'm not sure you could kind of pick up my questioning tone earlier when I was talking about the pump here. What I didn't realize is I was just glancing at it, and the reason I was a little confused, I'm like, nothing really looks like it attaches to that yoke or whatever you would call it at the end of here. You know, it's slotted. So something keys into this in order to let it spin. If you take another look at this pump, there's no key here. And if you take a closer look, it's sheared off. That is not good. Finding that part is going to be very hard. I bet you I can find the existing part because it's probably sitting in the bottom of that pan right there. So before I go inside, I'm gonna yank that cover off for the filter. I'm also gonna drain this case. Yeah, because all that oil is gonna be junk. Probably got a bunch of metal shards in it, but I'm gonna drain that out, take a look at the filter, see if I can't find that piece in the case. And if I do, maybe I can take that pump apart enough to weld the two pieces together. But man, in order to weld that together and properly, you know, clocked the right way and everything, that's gonna be a tough job. Anyway, I'm gonna shut this down here. I'm just gonna pop that filter out, drain the case, and I'm gonna do some research, see if I can't find parts and see what my options are. So with that said, I'll get back to you another day. Okay, remember how I was talking about it was cold yesterday and didn't want to stay out working too long because it was cold? Snowing today. So that's great. So where we left this off yesterday is I figured out what the problem was. I took some time to dig into the book, take a peek at the parts, weigh my options. I think I kind of have a plan, but first, to catch you up to speed, here's what we're looking at. I drained this case. There's a little drain plug right here in the bottom, and then obviously I pulled out the filter. This is the filter. It looks like it's a style that you can just clean up real good and reuse. Also, good luck finding a replacement for a decent price on one of those. I also tore around the bottom of the case with a magnet, and I'm also just gonna do another pass here just to be sure that I have everything. But here's what I found. This is a little snap ring sitting here that I found. This is like the double-sided key that is going to key into here as well as here. Okay, so this is the assembly that attaches to the pump over there and lets, you know, both sides spin. This is the piece that sheared off. Okay, so there's the damage there, and I was looking at the parts manual and I was able to see that this piece actually threads into this hunk of steel here, and there's a reason for that. Looking down here in the case, there's a pickup screen that's soldered onto my inlet tube here. Oh, little rubber gasket that I need to make sure that I don't lose. So this pickup screen definitely did its job down here. I mean, you could see there are shards of metal all over that thing. So that definitely saved the rest of my system here. If any metal made it past that screen, I would assume it would be small enough where, you know, it's going to contaminate the oil, contaminate the system, but not really do any major damage. So all in all, I think I'm okay here. The problem is, for me, how do I move forward with this piece that's sheared off? On another note, just having this thing sit inside, I'm able to see how bad my fuel leak is. Obviously I missed with the pan there, but that is how much fuel I leaked out of my fuel filter assembly here overnight. So it's like $1 laying on the floor right there. So definitely gonna have to address that fuel leak, which we will get into later. For now, let's focus on this pump. So back at the case here, this is the assembly here that sheared off. And like I said, I was able to look in the book and I realized that this nipple that sticks out here is actually threaded. And if you look down into this piece, you can see the threads. So in order to remove this whole assembly off the pump, you have to first thread this piece off, and that opens this up to remove it. So my first thought was, why don't I just take this, slap it here where it needs to be, and weld it on? And that is still a solution. However, I could take this 2-inch piece off, but I won't be able to take the rest of it off because that's the whole purpose of having this to be removable. If I weld this on, there will be no more maintenance that I'll be allowing myself in the future. Obviously, the correct way to do this would be take this apart, take this shaft out that is sheared off, take it to a machine shop and have them build me a new shaft with threads on the end, or get a lathe myself, which I plan on doing someday, so I could manufacture that piece myself. Both of those options I'm not really liking at this point in time. It'd be expensive to take it to a machine shop. It would take time. Not that that really matters. All in all, I don't really know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to start by removing this piece here, and then maybe I can unthread the sheared off piece and weld it back together. But another problem that I'm noticing is I think the part that sheared off is making this rod shorter than it was before. Because if you're looking at this, there should be more material to fill in here, and I think that's all the metal that I'm seeing in the case when this blew up. So again, I don't have an answer yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. So let's start by disassembling this, seeing what we're looking at, and then we can go from there. Here's the inside of this. See all those needles in there? If I'm not careful, all those are gonna dump everywhere, activating soft jaws, aka 2 rags. I'm assuming Yeah, a little burr around this whole edge. I'll have to file that down a little bit, clean it up. Set this aside for now. And we can turn our attention to that gear. All right, let me brew up a plan here. I'll get back to you. Okay, good girl. Well, it's dinner time, and I told y'all that I would give you an update on how Georgia's doing here with her new diet. I know it's a little ironic that I'm about to tell you how healthy her meals have been while she's eating off of a 5-gallon oil bucket. But I'm here to talk about Maeve for the second time. They are sponsoring today's video. Georgia has been on their food now for a little over a month. Maeve is a dog food brand that is all real food, human grade food that comes in that bag up there. She is on the chicken formula right now, which should be pretty good for her dainty little Doberman coat. She is loving it, and I am loving it as well, because there's something about feeding your dog just regular kibble that I don't think it sits well with most dog owners. You know it's better to feed your dog real food. There are a lot of things stacked up against you. It's time consuming. It's expensive. You never really know how to portion it well. This is pre-portioned food. There's potato, veggies, blueberries, chicken. They lay out how to feed your dog on the back of the bag as well, as far as portion control for different weight. 100% human grade, no fillers, meals, or preservatives. Just open, pour, and serve. So if y'all want to serve your dog the good stuff, look up Maeve, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code on the screen. Get yourself a little discount there. You can thank me later. All right, back to the video. All right, I got a plan, and I'm sticking to it, maybe. This is my solution. A simple little bolt. The plan is, I'm gonna drill a hole down the center of this surface here, the part that sheared off. I'm gonna tap it and thread this bolt through till it sits flush down here. At that point, I will extract the sheared off piece, reset it to the proper dimension using my bolt, and then whatever that gap is, I'll be able to weld the two pieces together, starting at the bolt and just building a weld out. That should work. I've got a bucket of degreaser here. I'm going to clean these up real nice and clean like, so I'll be able to, one, work with these, but then two, when I do go to weld, I can't have any of this oil on these pieces. So I'm going to get to work, and then we'll jump over to the container shop to start drilling a hole. But for now, I just need to clean these things up. Baby. I don't get to use this thing often, but when I do, it comes in real handy. Now, if I just had a place with heat, that would be real nifty. Oh boy. I'm thinking this is hardened, which kind of figured it would be, but this is probably going to take some effort to drill out. Hardened steel. I know there's a way to unharden and then reharden, but I'm pretty sure that involves some pretty serious flame and process that I am unaware of how to do.
I'm coming on the back.
tried from the back side because I figured the hardened part would just be the exterior, and I was correct. However, I wish I would have taken a little bit more time to center up my drill bit in that experiment, because it did work, but my hole is off center. Trying to explain this as I'm going, but the problem is I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, I got this as clean as I'm willing to get it for now. All I want to do is just tack this bolt in so I can remove it from this assembly. So just gonna do a little preheat. That'll be a dual purpose. One, it'll clean off any gasoline that I had left from cleaning this up. Two, it'll give it a little preheat for penetration. I can't recover from that. Gummed up my threads. Can't fix stupid. On that last tack, I ruined it. Okay, I had to take a breather there for a second. You know when you do something and it's just so idiotic and it ruins the last however many hours you have into a project? That's what I just did. When I was welding this bolt to the sheared off piece, I slipped and my weld caught the threads, which proceeded to weld this piece to the piece that I'm trying to extract. And that did not help anything. And I don't know, I'm still not confident. I mean, I was able to get in here with a little Dremel tool and grind out the weld. I'm not confident because I boogered up the weld on the way that it's supposed to come out, so now I need to drive it through and then somehow clean up the threads. I don't know. What I do know is I'm an idiot. You're an idiot. It's moving, that's good news. Heat and lube are probably going to be my friends in this situation. Just if I break this bolt back off, I mean, that is going to be another piece of trauma to this situation. Whoa! Woo! I got it. Oh, how did I do that? Wow. Oh, what is life? I need a drink. Okay, So here's where we're at. This thing is all set to weld up. I have some paint markings to clock everything just to make sure that I'm all in line. So what I'm gonna do, carefully unscrew the top piece, exposing the part that I need to weld. Mark another paint mark just to be sure that I'm putting everything in the right place, because I like the way that this is sitting nice and flush on this and level and whatnot. So once I do that, I'm gonna bevel out the part that I'm welding to give me a good piece of meat to weld to. I thought about just like tacking it together and then dry fitting everything to make sure it's gonna fit up, and I still might do that. We're probably going to do that. I might just tack it up, make sure everything's gonna work. You know, when with this mounted in the hydraulic pump, I just wanna make sure that everything's gonna fit back together the way it's supposed to. So that's what we're gonna do. I just checked it, and I want to bend this a little bit, so I'm just going to heat it up, throw the cap on, just give her a good old whack, see what happens. Yep. Perfect. Very nice. All right, with this tacked up now, let's put it all together, see if it's gonna fit up. And then once I verify that, take it all apart, weld her up. Let this cool down first. Oh man, this thing is a pig. Okay. I gotta piece together this thing a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna even bother putting this side on. It's just gonna make it heavier. But I do need to get this placed back in there. So let's do that. Pin this up on the tractor again. See what we're looking at. And tolerances are just scary tight, which is scary because I'm going to be putting a lot of heat into this thing, welding it. And if it's this tight right now, I just hope everything is going to fit up after I really scorch it, you know? Here's my next question. I'm looking at this retainer clip. It holds this key together, and I'm nervous that this broke, but I really can't tell. Maybe it's just bent outwards a little bit, like distorted, which that wouldn't be a big deal because I can just, you know, overextend it and it'll tighten up a little bit. Any of you case guys out there know if it's supposed to look different than that? You know, I think this is really essentially just to get it installed, and then past that it's sandwiched together, so it doesn't matter, I think. But I don't know. All right, see if she fits. All right, moment of truth here. Not a great way of telling if this thing's aligned. I kind of just gotta eyeball it and shove it. I mean, it's all the way in. Try sharing the video with you. Oh, that's it right there. Is that it? That is it. And it looks to me like we are fully engaged. That's beautiful. All right, disassemble again, weld her up. We're gonna be home free. Just about ready to weld this thing. I did take my grinder and I just cleaned up more of a gap for me to fill. I'm gonna preheat this thing, weld on the highest voltage that I have, and just go to town on this thing. Priority number one is going to be protect my threads. Unfortunately, I don't have a good way of doing that. I wish I could throw like a nut on this thing. I'm just gonna have to watch spatter as I'm going. I got my grinder here just to make sure they're cleaned up. I don't wanna melt any of my weld up into the threaded area. I can always grind down my weld on the perimeter here to make it nice and square, but enough gabbing. Let's preheat this thing and get to welding. I have a Yes Welder automatic dimming mask. Well, the mask is, I can't remember where I got it, outlaw leather, which I love. But my auto dimmer lens, I just can't get it adjust right. I mean, I'm cranked all the way up to a 13 shade, and I'm still blinded, and I got sunglasses on underneath too. I guess that's me saying I don't recommend a Yes Welder auto dimmer. I gotta find a better one. I'm just having a really tough time seeing. So far, I'm burning this in real hot, and I think it's working pretty good. You know, from what I can see, this is turning out good. You know, I can see from this side, it might be tough for you to see, but I'm totally filling in, which is good. Let's finish this up, seal her up, hopefully not go blind. I think that's as far as I'm willing to go. If I stack any more than that, I'm just gonna be grinding it off anyway. So I'm gonna run around with a grinder, clean this up, make sure everything's screwing on properly. From the looks of it, I think I did okay. I feel like I want to call it good. All right, gang, well, we finally got a decent day. It's rainy, it's really wet, but it's like 60 degrees. I'm out here in a long sleeve shirt. Birds are chirping. Feels good. Anyway, I got this thing buttoned up, just temporary, but the plan is I just want to fire this thing up and see if, one, this thing is going to pump, and two, where my leaks are gonna spring. I'm definitely gonna have leaks. Question is where. Obviously, my main concern is the cylinder itself, but I'd like to see other things, you know, like these hoses and whatnot. I have the filter out of it. I just want to see that the fluid's filling back up, and then I'm just going to put the housing cap back on and leave the filter out just in case that's plugged up, because I haven't cleaned that yet. Yes, I know I'm working with contaminated oil here, but it's already in the system. I'm just going to pump it through one more time. You know, I don't want to drain the whole system and fill up whatever it is, 8 gallons worth of hydraulic trans oil, and just to dump it back out again. We're gonna run it like this for now. I haven't fired this thing up in a couple weeks at this point, so let's see if this thing even starts. Oh yeah. And I'm raining again. Do the best I can keeping you under cover, but let's just see. Oh, I gotta shut her down. That filled up a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. Oh, it smells good, baby. Nothing like fresh smell of diesel in the morning. Fire up again, see if she's gonna pump. And we know since it's full at this point, I should be able to pull the levers. I'm not hearing any sort of noises or anything. That's not a good sign. Well, here's what I'm hoping. And I knew this was pretty plugged up, but it's a little worse than I thought. There are open areas, but this pickup screen for my pickup tube is pretty clogged up. So I'm hoping that's why it's not pumping. But this is bone dry, so I'm not picking up any fluid at all. I mean, bone dry. My fingers bone dry. Bone dry! So what I'm gonna do, before I yank too much apart here, I'm gonna clean this screen out, see if that fixes the problem. If it doesn't, then I have a problem with my pump itself. And that could be a can of worms for sure. So let's hope it's this. Pickup tube screen is cleaned. Get this bad boy back on. Get our gear lined up just right. I got nothing. Well, it's official.
I can't have children.
What's official? I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot!
As you can see by the orientation of things, any dummy would figure out that I key in here on the bottom. That's that right there. I have my return hole here. That lines up with this one here. That returns the oil. And I have my pickup tube here. Picks up here, and I was like, oh, you know, that's dry. It's not picking anything up. It's not picking anything up. Well, if you look at it, you know, backwards, it's pretty obvious that this plate needs to sit this way. I had it the opposite way, so my pickup hole was over here. Now that I have it positioned correctly and retorqued to spec, and that's not a lie, it's actually torqued to 40 foot-pounds. I'm going to reinstall this one more time and pray that we're picking up oil now. So I paid my stupid tax for the day. Hopefully I get a little bit of good luck here. Okay, now, with all that sitting in place, let's see if I start pumping some oil. Well, it's raining again. I'll get you out of the rain. And I can confirm we're pumping oil. It's just one of those days, you know. I'm happy with how this is turning out. You know, everything's coming together. It's just, you know, stupid mistakes because I'm stupid. So you have that. All right, we got everything hooked up, hoping that it's functional and it doesn't spray a bunch of oil everywhere again. Fire up. So far, so good. All right, let's see here. It works! How is that thing holding? I guess I won't count my chickens yet. Wow. I cannot believe that hydraulic cylinder is holding oil back. Dang. All right. Oh yeah, there we go. Here comes the oil. Definitely letting oil by. But in other news, I mean, it looks like everything else is pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of residual oil where, you know, I was messing with everything and spewing oil everywhere. Well, golly. I got some decision making to do because I definitely at a bare minimum, this hose down here is just absolutely poached. I can't believe it's holding, to be honest. It might be leaking. Can't tell if that's residual oil from the install or if that's the hose leaking. I definitely have a slight leak at the cylinder, but it's facing upwards, so it's really not that bad. I should rebuild it. So that's probably what I'm going to do, but I'm going to take a minute to think on it. But hey, we got a functional 3-point system. That's awesome. Obviously, still a lot of work to do, but I'm going to come up with a plan on what I want to do, and I'll get back to you guys on it. All right, y'all. I think at this point, I'm going to cut the video. I think it's getting to the point where it's a full video at this point. I wanted to get all the maintenance done on this thing in one, but with all that work that we had to do the rear end, I think... like I said, I'm just going to make a part 1, part 2 type of thing. So I'm going to end the video here. And the next one, we're going to get into changing all the fluids, filters. I'm going to have to dig into this generator, see if I can repair that, because as of right now, it is not charging. Not the end of the world, but I'll at least look into it. So we'll get into all that on the next one. But for now, if y'all enjoyed the video, please do me a favor. Like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. You can follow me outside of YouTube on Instagram, Facebook, and the TikTokies. And with that, I'm going to get started on part 2. So I will see you all in the next one. But always remember, don't be afraid to grab that wrench and get after it yourself. See you next time.